Welcome back to Introduction to Programming. This is video 17 in our series. My name is John Duane. In this and the next few videos, we will cover another important building block in your computer programming knowledge. The topic is file input and output. Sometimes we call this file I/O. It's a big topic, so we will start slow with some theory, introduction of a Visual Basic object library that helps with file input-output, and then some simple examples. That will be today. In the following videos, we will cover how to create, read, and write to Excel files. We'll finish this section with one or two videos covering I/O for text files and XML files. So you see, this is a big topic. All right, let's start with some basics. Files, directories, folders, and drives. All right, files. Files are collections of bytes on disk that accomplish some task. They hold data or instructions for data processing. Files don't exist in memory, they're just on disk. So files are the computer's means of storing information. The bytes that make up a file represent not just the data or the instructions, but also some things you don't see when you open the file. There are bytes that mark the beginning and end of the file. There are bytes that hold the address of the file on disk so that it can be found by the operating system when needed. There are also bytes that signal the operating system that the file is open and being worked on, or closed and available. There are many different formats for files, usually indicated by the file extension in Windows, such as .txt or .pdf or .xlsx, an Excel file. Depending on the file format, you may need a special tool to read the file. For example, you cannot open a PDF file in a text editor like Notepad. You'd need Adobe. Okay, folders. Folders help organize the files visually for the human user. So here's a disk. In reality, files and folders are just millions of bytes encoded in the electromagnetic film on the surface of disks like this one. Tools such as My Computer in Windows paints a more logical picture and forms an interface that is user-friendly. Microsoft has gone back and forth on the word folders. Back in the 70s and 80s, we used the term directories. Then, with Windows XP and later, they began using folders, thinking, I guess, that it's a more intuitive term. In the .NET languages, over the last 10 years and continuing to today, they've come back to using the term directories. But for our purposes here, we'll use the term folders in these videos most of the time. Just be aware that they mean the same thing. All right, last but not least, drives. All right, here in this window you can see a typical PC with a number of different drives indicated by letters. See that here. Drives are simple for the programmer, especially in our context. They are really just big folders designated by letters. Again, back in the 70s and the 80s, they corresponded to physical devices. C, as you can see here, it's even got a little icon that kind of backs up what I'm going to say. C used to be the hard disk on a PC. A, we don't have A here, but A back then would have been a removable disk, a floppy, or some type of removable media. Today, it's all different. Today we can partition a single hard drive into numerous logical drives. So the hard drive on my PC could have C, D, F, G, and H as drives. Okay, so how does the operating system keep all this straight? Well, there's a component of the operating system that is devoted to this task, and not surprisingly, it's called the file system. In Windows 7, it's called NTFS, or the New Technology File System. It translates the millions of bytes circling the hard disk surface into visually understandable My Computer interface, like here. You've got all the folders, and then folders inside folders, and then files inside the folders. Okay, now we're going to talk about something that's a little closer to programming. This is a library of objects that in Visual Basic helps us deal with the file system directly. This library is called the Microsoft Scripting Runtime. It is not automatically in your programming environment when you open the editor. You have to add the library, and I'll show you how to do this. So let's go to the programming interface. So here we are, the IDE. Now the way you add the Microsoft Scripting Runtime to your project is up in Tools, and there's something called References. Click that, and you can see there's a number of libraries that are added automatically already. So we have Office because we're dealing in Excel, Visual Basic for applications, and so on. But we have to kind of move down this list. So there's lots of libraries available to us. The one we want, just passed it, Scripting Runtime. Check that, hit OK. Now it's part of our project. If I were to then go to the object browser, I can actually find scripting. And here we have the objects in the runtime library that are helpful to us. And the granddaddy of them all is this one called the file system object, which, as you can see, does a lot of things related to folders, paths, drives, files. So this is very, very helpful. So let's go back to the code editor. So in order to use this, you have to create an object variable with the file system object name as the data type. So dim FSO, this is for file system object, as new file system object, and you have to use the term new here because this is an object. Then the next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a string variable called string file, and inside string file I'm going to place this string, which is the drive, path, file name, and extension of a file on my C drive. So this is the cursors folder, which has about 160 files in there for all the different cursors that are available. So that's just a string that goes there. And now here I'm going to actually use the file system object to figure out whether or not this file really exists. So I say if the FSO.fileExists method, and then inside parentheses I have my file variable. So if file exists equals true, then I'll print to the immediate window the name of the file. Oh, actually, I'm going to need another variable here. So I'm going to dim fil as file. There we go. I think I need that because I'm using that down here. And yes, okay. So let's see if I can get this to work. Let's see if this file exists. Nope, it's not working yet. I need to do one more thing. So here, yeah, this is very important. This file variable, which is of data type file, which is in the runtime, the scripting runtime library, I have to tell the compiler that FIL is going to be this file. So this is how I do it: fso.getFile, and then in parentheses string file. So let's try running it now. And I think it probably worked. Let's get that immediate window up in front of us. Yeah, let's try it again. Let's just delete all this garbage and try again. And there we go. Arrow up.cur does indeed exist. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Good. Alright, so if I were to change this to an I don't think I have that file. Let's see what happens now. C window there, sir does not exist. Alright, so there, that's a good test. Okay, let's do something a little different. Let's put that back to what it was. Let's do something with a folder. So I need to add a folder variable. So there's my folder variable. I need to tell the compiler what the name of my folder is. So I'll do that here, similar to the way I handled the file name. So set FOL equals FSO get folder. Before, remember, it was get file, so now it's get folder. And then in parentheses, this would be the name of the folder. So I'm referring to FIL, which is here, and that's the file. And then one of the properties on that file is the parent folder. So this will actually give me the name of the folder. So that's pretty cool. I like that. So what I'm going to do on top of that is I now am able to create a list of all the files in this folder. So I'll use this for next loop like this, and I've got one more variable I need here. Yeah, I need another file variable. My file, that should work now. Okay, so this for next loop is going to loop through all the files in this folder. But now this expression is a collection of files. See how it's files plural? So this is all the files in FOL, and then for each one of those it's going to print the name of the file and the date last modified. So let's take a look at that. And then on top of that, well, let's just do that first. Oh, that was fast. Okay, so there they are. You can see them in the immediate window. If I raise this up, those are all the different files in that folder. So that's handy. Alright, then last but not least, we're going to do one last thing. One of the great things about this library is that there are lots of ways to get information about the files, so in the folders. So every time I reference file, I have a lot of things available to me. So let me get rid of this and press dot, and you can see all the different properties that are available. You know, not just name, but path and size and type and all sorts of things. So here I think I want name, but I'm also going for date last modified and size, and then for the folder, drive, name, how many files in the folder, parent folder. So that's the folder above this folder. So lots of good stuff. So that'll print down below. So let's give that a whirl. And if we raise this up, let's try that again. View the immediate window. So there's all that additional information. All right, that's pretty good. Okay, we're coming to the end right now, so we'll see you next time.